Hello, world family. Today is Memorial Day. Great day for me. My dad was a Marine for 33 years, so this day means a lot to me. He then became a cop. He used to tell me that he was retired being a cop compared to a Marine. He loved service. So did my mother. My mother worked in an elderly home. She was a caregiver as well. You know, it's crazy. Family ties, family lines. We learn a lot from our families. Not only the good things, but some of the things that hold us back. So remind yourself that if your family dynamic is pushing you down in any way, it's not healthy. If it's rising you up, it's healthy. But remind yourself, both exist within the dynamic of family. Sometimes you're put on earth for a soul contract. And that soul contract is all about you. It's all about how to learn your aurora field. So your aurora field is spiritual energy that is protection. See, God protects you on earth. When people talk to you about divine order or divine protection, it's not always what everyone believes. See, your aurora field is you. Father creates it around you. It's your protection shield. But many things can come in it to teach you, to grow you. Now, a lot of the times, humanity can't see it. But when Father opens your third eye, you can see it. You can see the vastness of the universe. And a lot of people say, trust the universe. I understand that's a good thing. But you have to trust it in the grand picture that Father gives you. So sometimes your universe is in a contract with someone, and the universe is not good to you. It's because you're in a contract with them and they're not doing their part of their spiritual work, but you are. But you must trust in the universe to get out of that and get into alignment with you. See, your alignment is eternity. It's yours for the taking. And what I mean by that is that you have to take action. Action creates movement. Talking is a beautiful thing. You live and die by the tongue, as we all know. Your mind must stay fresh, must stay young. We're not talking immaturity young. We're talking youth. Many people will go on when they get older. They get into a routine and they don't want out. It's because they don't want to renew their mind. See, if you don't renew your mind in your routine, stay stagnant. Creating movement is a good thing for you. When you don't want to change about something, remind yourself, why do I not want to change? See, change is inevitable. You see it in the world. It changes all the time. Constantly moving forward, and you're either going to get left behind or you're going to have to ascend to heaven and come back and relearn the lesson. So you must move forward. Here is the thing for you to understand. Your aurora field creates your emotions. What comes in and out of your aurora field, your energy field that surrounds your soul, creates your emotions. You can have the steadiest emotions and someone comes in your vicinity and boom, it gets knocked off. And you're furious, or you're upset, or you're irritated, or you're angry. See, those are negative emotions. When you have other emotions, when other people come into your aurora field that are beautiful, eccentric, emotional, on and on, they create positive emotions. See, you must understand, negative emotions hold you back. Positive emotions move you forward to eternity. There's no hate in eternity. Father doesn't hate you. Father forgave every deep, dark, nasty little sin on the cross. When he says he's forgiven you sins, he didn't pick and choose what your sin was. He saw them all. He didn't say this one's forgiven and that one's not. He didn't do that. He said, your sins are forgiven. So many people out there judge you. Let it go. There's only one judge in the entire world, and that's the heavenly Jehovah. The Lord sits on the right-hand side of him. He is your lawyer. He is your advocate. He is the one that is going to talk to the Heavenly Father. If he hasn't done that already and you haven't noticed that, what did he say on the cross? He told the Heavenly Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Do you understand what that means? It means your spiritual sight was not open until he was on the cross. Your spiritual sight opened when he was on the cross. It's been 2,000 years. The more you resist, the more it persists. So when you want the world to change, you must change. People will say you are as good as you are. Well, then why are you here? Why are you here? If you're as good as you are, go sit in eternity and you don't need to do anything else. Why are you here? Are you here to make a difference in people's lives? Are you here to make a difference within your own soul? Now that's not to tell you that you're not good enough. That's to remind you that your journey on earth is to remind you how good enough you are. See, you can't do that without spiritual sight. You can't do that without growth. You ever look at an athlete and they're at the starting line. They've prepared. They've done everything in their mind to be able to handle the race. But nothing and no one knows how that race is going to go until the gun goes off and you jump into action. See, you either sprint to the finish line or you give up. It's life. See, many people will come out to you with very negative emotions. They'll shoot that gun at you. Physically, emotionally, spiritually, that gun will go off. And you're either triggered to become the best you are and sprint, or you give up and you let them overtake you. See, you must learn these lessons on earth. You can't learn them in heaven. You don't learn lessons in heaven. You're at peace in heaven. You learn skills in heaven. And you bring those skills back to earth to learn your spiritual lesson. See, the physical body is full of pain. And you must learn to release it. A great way to release pain, many things can be done. Many people will say meditate. Many people will say pray. Those two things bring you grace. But to release pain out of the physical body, you must take action. So you must take physical activity. So it must be exercise or a massage, a deep tissue massage to release the toxins out of your body. You must take action. See, you have to understand that Father came and did much of the talking, but he did more action than he did talking. How much spread when he would do a miracle? It would spread. You ever want the world to change and you want something to spread very quickly and you want it for the good of humanity, take action. See, here's the thing on earth. Many people believe the world is getting worse. That's because we believe that. We believe the world's getting worse. We see it on the news 24/7. Every time you watch the news, they'll run the same terrible stories over and over and over and over. It'll be in the morning news, the afternoon news, the nighttime news, the 6 o'clock news, the 8 o'clock news, every single day. Do you understand that? You're pumping yourself full of the most darkest moments on the earth. And if you considerably think that turning the news on every single day is feeding your body full of love and hope, you are sadly mistaken. The news does nothing but tell you all the trauma in the world. in the entire world. It can reach every corner of the earth, news can. You find out in humanity, why do we believe the negative before we believe the positive? You will have many positive masters, and they'll be made fun of. Does the news get made fun of? Or is it considered credible? Because you want to believe it's bad. You want to seriously believe that you can turn on the news and watch tragedy. I have a question for you. All these tragedies that are going on about the schools, and that how there is a shooting in the schools, and that it must stop. Do they try to stop it? Or do they tell you that they need to go make a law to get it to stop? Did you ever experience a newscast go from beginning to end? So they see the tragedy. They tell you about the tragedy, and all the images are about the tragedy. But do they tell you all the images of the survivors during the newscast? No. They never tell you the survivors of the newscast. They wait for a follow-up about it. Instead of giving you the full picture and the full story in the news, you have a question. Let's say a shooting went down. During the newscast, they'll give you 5 to 10 minutes of the most horrible images of what occurred. And then they play it over and over and over and over and over and over. Do you really think that's life? Think about your life. Is that your life? When something tragic goes on, is that what happens? And then you wonder why you replay something over and over and over in your mind. Because that's all you've been taught. You think about something that's very tragic in your life. Let's say someone had a death in the family. I'll give you an example. I go through it all the time. But you won't see how many people cared for them before the tragedy. You won't see how people cared for them during the tragedy. And you won't hear about how so many people cared for them after the tragedy. So the tragedy is one thing, but the caring went on before, during, and after. See, that's 3 things. The tragedy was one thing. Why does news let you hear about the one thing and never anything else in that kind of proportion? Good before, good during, good after. Tragedy happened. But how you want to accept tragedy is the very essence of humanity. Father told you on the cross, He's the body. Do you understand the bread at the Last Supper? Do you understand the wine at the Last Supper? See, it's been 2,000 years and Mary Magdalene is almost irritated about how people still see the world. It's very frustrating to me when people don't want to accept their divinity. I'll give you an example. It comes down to a very small thing. I'm a caregiver, and there are many people in my care. And I lifted someone very high today that was very low in his life. But here's the crazy thing. Your mind tells you if you're low or not. Stop telling yourself the world is terrible. The world has to be perfect. You have to be perfect. See, many celebrities will go on and on about how they're abused or how they get hate about something about their body. Do you ever think that your body can be perfect? And I don't mean in the shallow way. I mean the physical beauty of eternity. And that means you could have no arm, you could have no leg, all that kind of stuff can happen on earth. But in eternity, you're whole. But do you know that Father can bring you that feeling right here on earth? He can bring that feeling to you. He can bring that essence of eternity that's whole, healed, no hate, pure love and light, the devil is destroyed. So you understand, he is destroyed. No matter what he does to your life or tears it down, he's torn my life apart. But I can see Father turning it around, which I have always believed. Father will turn it around. See, I had the most beautiful day today. I've had some very heavy suffering past week. Had a case that was very severe. But I made it as beautiful as I could and knew that Father was taking him home. Today, though, Father let me know that it's coming. That my time is coming. See, certain events happen today in sequence. Synchronicity is real in life. Synchronicity lets you understand the path of eternity. Your energy can move forward if you believe. See, Father told many a long time ago, when he was persecuted, did he not tell them they needed to believe for them to move forward? It's still true today. You must believe to move forward. If you believe that everything you do is pointless, the world is getting worse and there's nothing you can do about it, then that's the way it stays in your mind. See, it doesn't have to stay that way. You can do your best, leave the entire rest to the Lord. See, his yoke is steady. His yoke is light. Yours can be hard and high. But do you understand that he is the one that carries you through that? See, he did all these things on the cross. You are pure energy. Your soul can transcend anywhere you like if Father wants it. If you want to visit others in your spirit, you can. You can do that on earth. You can do that in heaven. You can do that anywhere Father says you can go. He's unlimited in every degree. Many people talk about what's normal, what's real. Do you understand that my energy, my soul, has been held back by the Father for purpose? See, there's been many things in my life. I've had to go through many tragedies in previous past lives. I've had to see a lot of this life be hidden and wait for people to feel my energy. But it's all been, some people say, eye-opening. The difference is Mary Magdalene's third eye has always been open. It's wide open. But what Father has taught me is that I'm in a wide open field of abundance. A wide open field. It's pure abundance in eternity. It's here. See, the disciples, the saints, the apostles have all followed the Lord to receive grace. But we all have a task. So many people will sit there and say, Saint Mary Magdalene, thank you very much, because I worked very hard at it. Do you understand how Father can grant you wishes? They're not always in the wish that you ask for. It's usually a much grander version of what you asked for. See, a long time ago, I asked for a love affair that would accept me just as I am, as if I had a tragedy happen to me and my body was gone, and that they would still love me no matter what. See, I wanted someone true. I wanted someone truly love me for me and not the body. Not that you don't love the body. You love the body. You cherish the body. You honor it. But life happens. You must not be shallow in this life. I've had people come up to me and say, you're just too deep. You're too soft. I can't take it. What? I've had so many people tell me that. I've had so many people say to me, "You're too soft," meaning my touch is too soft. Even though I'm very hard sometimes, and very strict, very disciplined. Not that it looks like it in this body, but it will. When all this dark tragedy in my life is over, the constant images and the famine and the heavy weight of homelessness, when all of that is over, my light will be lifted. So will my body. My body will lift. How am I doing? How am I lifting? See, Mary Magdalene has been contemplating in this life. See, I'm Tangi in this life, but the Mary Magdalene soul within me is very strong. It's my Sagittarian side. But in this life, Father made me a Scorpio because I'm all in or nothing. I'm all in. See, I understand that Father wants me out in the public eye. What I didn't understand is that he wanted me with Teresa even more. Now, many of you might gasp at that. He wants me with my divine counterpart even more than service, because it's what he did for me on the cross. Not any of you, for me. I need to accept that he did that for me. That's not to say he doesn't do it for you. That's to tell you I had to accept that my responsibility as a saint was a genuine blessing, and that my priority, my honor, my respect was to go towards Teresa first, then to the public. See, I used to do priorities in different ways. I'm kind of a workaholic sometimes. But sometimes Father makes you one. Sometimes he makes you work. But what I'm starting to accept is that Father's really going to let me rest. It's been 2,000 years of hardship. I can see it. But there have been beautiful moments all along the path. But see, this is a new path for me and for Teresa. See, this is a new path of our love affair. And it's moving into eternity, where our energy collides and creates abundance. As many of you have seen on Earth, love affairs happen and do that. But this is a little different. This is a new path to explore. Not for any of you, but for us. That's not to mean selfish. That's mean to show you how beautiful Father has created the world just for you. See, I get to explore. I get to create. I get to have the most exquisite love affair of my life. I've waited 3 lifetimes to see it. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. See, many people say that. It's very true. What do you think it does for the Lord? See, he hasn't been on the earth for 2,000 years. His heart is growing fonder for you every day. Did he not forgive you on the cross? What do you think he's thinking and creating just for you, for him to come back to this earth and give you everything he's ever dreamed of? See, Father dreams way better than we do. And people sit there and say, oh, you live in fantasy. Do you realize that Father has given you fantasy? Father has given you the pure essence of gold, streets paved with gold, his beautiful hand of healing, his beautiful eyes of grace, pure light that you can't handle as a human being, but you will be able to walk across a blue lake to the city on your knees, because Father's made it so. It's true fantasy, and he's given you one. So when people tell you to stop dreaming and get your feet on the ground, You remind them your feet are solid on the ground. And you can dream all you want. Because Father is the dream maker. Father is the dream keeper. And Father brings it to pass. So I'm telling you straight up, people. You're my world family. My Teresa is my world. See, in this life, I get to explore and have joy. I'm done with demons and darkness and suffering. Just wait. You'll see a beautiful house. You'll see a beautiful woman beside me. My Teresa's gonna be beside me. And she's gonna talk all about what she's been through. And you're gonna see me watch and listen. I've waited for 3 lifetimes. I've watched and listened for this woman. This woman is... You're gonna fall in love with her. Just like me.